Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. So this video is from Shapiro and it's titled JoJo Siwa is confused again and Pedro Pascal turns to trans activist. You guys, I'm excited and let's see what this is all about.
But like I've always said, like lesbian, right? But I feel like so queer.
What the living? What in the what? There we go. So a lot to talk about in the cultural sphere. And here I have to thank producer Jess, who is, this is her last week helping me with the culture segment. She's moving on to greener pastures, doing more culture for other people. Don't worry, we'll still do culture segments, but Jess has been invaluable here. So a shout out to Jess here. She keeps an eye on this stuff because I'll be honest with you, like the chances that I'm going to follow JoJo Siwa's transformation from lesbian to queer the chances were zero. But now I know about it, and so you know about it too. Apparently, JoJo Siwa has now revealed that she no longer identifies as a lesbian at all. She is now queer. She says that she feels most similar to non-binary people. She isn't ready to label herself beyond queer. Oh, these terms mean nothing. Honest to God. She's just making up things now. Here we go.
I don't know how this is going to come out. But we've already been... But it's made me feel so queer. And I've always been afraid of feeling queer.
This is you.
Like I've always said, like lesbian, right? But I feel like so
this is you.
Queer. You know what I mean?
I'm queer.
But that's like I've never
we're not living in a world that's designed for us, JoJo.
I'm switching letters.
You're a queer bit.
L, I'm going to the Q.
You are a Q, honey.
That's what I love about sexuality.
And you know what British people love more than anything? It's a Q.
It's a Q, baby.
What the living? What in the what? Okay, can I just say that the West is a deeply unserious place now? Like deeply, deeply unserious. There are actual real things happening in the West, and we're worrying about whether JoJo Siwa identifies as a lesbian, i.e. a woman who wants to have sexual relations with other women, or queer, i.e. a woman who wants to have sexual relations with other women and maybe others. Like, whoop-de frickin' do. She added that non-binary people are the people she feels most like, which, how can she feel like that? Does she feel like a chicken today or a penguin? Like what? Here we go.
I've met a lot of females, love them, don't feel like I'm them. Met a lot of males, love them, definitely not them. Met a lot of people in my life that are non-binary. And these beautiful non-binary people are who I feel the most like. And I don't know, it's not something that I want to say about myself yet, but it's something that is confusing.
Oh, wow. She's like a butterfly emerging from the chrysalis. And she's also, wasn't she like a Nickelodeon star? It is amazing how many of these child stars end up absolutely screwed up at every possible level. Meanwhile, Pedro Pascal, who is the star of The Mandalorians, who is not booted for making Holocaust comparisons, because the way that it works is that if you're Gina Carano and you say people should treat each other more nicely because otherwise terrible things happen with a picture of, people chasing Jews during the Holocaust, you get fired from Disney. But if you're Pedro Pascal and you compare the plight of illegal immigrants held in detention facilities to concentration camps, that's totally fine. Well, now he is out there promoting transgender rights. He wore a shirt called Protect the Dolls at the UK premiere of Marvel's Thunderbolts. Apparently, dolls is an affectionate term within the LGBTQ plus minus divided by sign community, referring to transgender women. He wore the shirt shortly after the UK Supreme Court said, oh yeah, by the way, men are not women and women are not men. He also then attacked J.K. Rowling, which is always the mark of a complete dolt on this particular issue. He has a brother who came out as a sister in February 2021. And so that is one of the things that presumably is driving Pedro Pascal. He's also the star of The Last of Us, which is about gay zombies or something. I tried to watch the first season of The Last of Us, and I have to say that it was well made and also just randomly the gayest series in human history. Like true, like there are in the original video game lesbians and gay people and trans people and all the rest of it. But in the series, there's literally an episode that's just a cutaway to a gay romance for an hour with no zombies. Yeah, man. Okay, meanwhile, Democrats are out there trying to figure out who exactly their presidential candidate is going to be. And one by one, they're having a bit of a tough time. So Michelle Obama, widely considered to be a person Democrats love, a person who could run for president and win, You know, she ran a good game for a while post Obama's presidency. She kind of turned herself into Oprah. She wrote these very flowery books about finding yourself and becoming, as her best-selling book suggested. And now she's doing a podcast where she's just really, really bitter, like all the time. And here is bitter Michelle Obama being bitter.
Also, as Black women, we are so easily labeled as angry and bitter. And let me tell you some of the most hurtful stuff that I experienced, entering this life of public service at the heights that we entered into was during my husband's presidential campaign. Mm-hmm. And just me telling the truth of who we were, just humanizing him as a man, saying he's a great man, but he's not perfect. Mm-hmm. He's got his foibles and his flaws, trying to humanize him. The first thing that some female journalist said was that I was bitter. I was emasculating him.
Okay. So, does she seem charming and lovable to you? Because if so, then you might have been hit in the head with a brick. Because that is not a person who I think is going to charm the American people. She seems so angry, truly pissed off. That's not because she's Black, it's because she's pissed off. There are lots of people who are pissed off all the time, and she seems to be one of them. And maybe the reason that there is a label of you being angry is because you seem to be angry in every major clip of you for the last year or so. So yeah, she's not going to be the one. Maybe it'll be Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg, he declared he's not going to run for Senate in Michigan, mainly because he's not from Michigan. But he has grown a beard, and now he is appearing with Andrew Schultz. He's trying to do the Manosphere now. He's going to do the Podbro podcast, where he talked about he and his husband adopting a kid and how the adoption system is racist because you pay a lower fee to adopt a Black kid.
Anybody who says race is not a thing in this country should experience an adoption process where there are literally different lists. If you say that you want a white kid only versus if you say that doesn't matter. Wow. Literally a different list.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
The list for white kid only is longer. And not only that, there was actually a discount, or you didn't have to pay a deposit on the fee.
Discount is crazy.
This is how it works.
Okay, so first of all, I don't think it's an amazingly good look to talk about, how much money you saved while you were buying a kid. That seems to be the way he's talking about it, which is not a great way to talk about it politically. Second of all, when he's talking about the differential fees that are placed in order to facilitate adoption, for example, we should recognize that for several decades in this country, it was considered absolutely unpalatable for white people to adopt Black kids. It was a major issue in the United States. Since the 1970s, the wokies basically claimed that the adoption of Black kids by white couples deracinated the Black kids and put them in a bad situation. Randall Kennedy, a professor at Harvard Law School when I was there, he's still a professor there, wrote an entire book about how stupid this was. So this is a real thing. And again, this is kind of the way that the left tends to work, which is if a Black kid is adopted by white parents, that's racist. And if a Black kid is not adopted by white parents, that is also racist. So I think Pete Buttigieg might have a tough time in a national election. His support base is entirely white liberal women. That's his entire support base. Well, that's all for now, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below. Be sure to check out all of the other great content on my channel. I'll see you here next time.
You guys, that was such an interesting one from Ben Shapiro. And one thing about JoJo Siwa is that she is confused, because when a child becomes a star, when a child becomes a celebrity too early, they become screwed in the head. And that is exactly what is going on with JoJo Siwa. She is so confused, so screwed, and the only thing she needs at this point is redemption. What are your thoughts? Leave it in the comment section down below. And what do you think about Michelle Obama being labeled an angry Black woman? Do you think she's an angry person? For me, I don't see her as a very, very friendly person. I see her as very, very uptight, always so serious. But I would love to hear your thoughts on that too. Leave it in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.